Hi, loving friends, and thank you for being here today. So how can you use your fear rather than allowing it to use you? So today we are going to talk about fear templates of our world. Okay, there'll also be an activation at the end of this video, or a deactivation to deactivate the templates of our world, to shift them out of us. So let's get started. So fear is an instinctual and automatic response of our survival. So when your very existence is being threatened or in jeopardy, fear, fight, flight, or freeze kicks in. So fear is also a grand and a glorious teacher and a great motivator. You see, fear is sometimes your first teacher, and it teaches with the whispers, with the warnings, with the reminders. So fear teaches with delivering communications of the wax and wane of trust. So when trust waxes over, you fill automatically with fear. If you process your emotions with guilt, well, you fill with guilt goo. And you automatically fill with fear. And if you suppress unhealthy anger for long enough, you can then not trust your actions, and instead you fill with fear. If you like a shame-based person who can never do anything right, is constantly making mistakes and is afraid of change and growth and expansion, you automatically fill with fear. Where there is a lack of trust, fear will, fill that space. So fear is a messenger and a communicator. So when trust wanes, approaches an end, decreases in strength, declines in power, well, you fill with fear. So fear is bringing you messages as a teacher and a motivator around the wax and wane of trust. So fear is a communicator, teacher, and motivator to communicate messages around love. When it expands, and when it contracts, and when it flows, and when it ebbs. As well as fear teaches and motivates by delivering messages about the faulty function of the stuff of reality. Okay, the faulty function of your raw material, of attitudes, thoughts, feelings, decisions, of your tools of imagination, desire, expectation. Sustaining energies as well. So when there is a faulty or friction, when there is a contradiction in the areas of your stuff in reality, fear communicate and give you messages of such a faulty function, which serve as teachers and serve as motivators. Also, you see, fear is an automatic response conditioned by the templates of our world. Templates. The templates of your, genetic code that uses often fear as a motive to reproduce fear. The templates of society that say and encourage you to be smart, to be wise, to be ready, to be on top of it, to be prepared, get it done, don't make mistakes, it's competition, compete, winner and loser, do not be left behind, etc. Okay, so we have the templates of negative ego that instantly threaten your very existence, lock you into avoiding impact, confrontation, rejection, behavior, change, growth, expansion, seeking approval, acceptance, shut down, don't make them angry, and etc. Okay, so the templates of power or overpower or subdue, or to oppress, or be oppressed, etc. Man, listen to that man. So the templates of unhappiness, sadness, loss, grief, misfortunes, your survival, to be wary, to be afraid of everything and anything. Now we have the templates of the ghosts of the past, the addictive energies that hold you tight to fear. Again, we have the templates of limited desire, obsession, wants, needs, must have. That's what will give me love. That will make me happy. That will fill my void of lust, of desire, etc. Okay, so we have the templates of fear condition you with an automatic response with more fear. So the neural pathways will take the avenue of least effort, least resistance, the least impact. Some of you, when in doubt, be afraid. When in anything, be afraid. Something new, right? Something old, something good, something familiar, anything and everything. Automatically, the templates contributes to you being fearful, being afraid. So this would cause a fear-based person to take the path of least resistance. How many take the path of least resistance? Comments below. A pathway of least resistance. So instead of seeing your fear as something to be suppressed, controlled, or denied, you saw your fear as a guide, as a messenger, as a teacher, as part of you needing love. So we fear being labeled, the black sheep or a reject, and we hunger to be liked and to be respected, and most of all, to belong. We want to be picked for the team, asked to the prom, and voted for the most popular. Or please come to me as a healer, We want to be mom's golden boy and daddy's little girl. We don't want people to find out that our father is out of work. My brother is in prison. Our mother is a raging alcoholic. We want to belong. We want to be chosen. We want to fit in and be wanted. We want to be loved and accepted. And we are deeply afraid that we won't be. How many can relate to that? Comments below. Fear is one of the main drivers of our so-called bad behaviors. And it manifests itself in countless ways. Fear of not being liked, not being seen, or not being special, or, it shows up as a fear of failure, of being out of control, of not being taken care of being hurt or abandoned, of being exposed, of not fitting in, of being put down, of being betrayed, of being wronged, or of somebody taking what's ours. So fear has us close ourselves off and fight for what we think we need. It is this primal fear that triggers our most destructive thoughts and gives rise to our most toxic emotions. Living in the abject fear that we be found out as the less than perfect people we know ourselves to be. We forfeit our innate right to feel good about ourselves, to say what we think and to ask for help or to take risks or to boldly express our deepest desires. So to manage our fears, we may eat, we may drink, shop, work, gossip, or complain about them in an attempt to numb our fears or cover them up. But times of stress or loss always bring them right back up to the surface again. The old adage, "What you resist persists," explains this phenomenon perfectly. Anything about our lives, ourselves, that we dismiss, ignore, judge, hate, or hide gains a tighter grip on us. In resisting our fear, we hand it to the power to hijack our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions. At virtually any moment, just take a moment and imagine that instead of seeing your fear as something to be suppressed, controlled, or denied, you saw your fear as a guide, as a messenger, as a teacher, as part of you needing love. So connect to the inner child within you and love this child within. I can promise you one thing. Every single aspect of ourselves, every emotion, every experience, every quality that we possess comes bearing gifts. We need only be willing to find them. The task of being fully human is to find love and compassion for every aspect of ourselves, including our fear. You see, true courage comes not by trying to vanquish our fears, but by opening our hearts to the wounded, fearful parts of ourselves. So when we discover the gift of fear, the gift of our fears, the ways it has served us, the message it holds for us, and ultimately the wisdom it is here to bring us, it is transformed from an emotion that limits us to a force that propels us forward safely. Suppressed fear is the cause of terrible, terrible suffering. But befriended fear is a powerful ally, a friend that supports us in changing the parts of our lives where we are struggling or unfulfilled and feel unsupported. Okay, transformational action steps time. Transform your fearful self from an enemy to an ally by acting on the insights I share with you today. If you find yourself in a situation this week that triggers anxiety or hesitation or fear, do your best not to run from these feelings. Face them. Instead, take a moment to ask yourself, right now, how can I use my fear rather than my fear using me, or rather than allowing my fear to use me? Courage Activator. Make a list of everything you stand to gain by overcoming fear in the area of your life you're committed to transforming. So be it. And read it daily, adding to it as you go along and as you can, okay? Courage Affirmation. It is safe for me to accept the gifts of my fear. So be it. I know what it feels like to live a life without fear, stopping me at every corner of change. Okay, fear template deactivation. I now command the deactivation of the limited condition fear templates of our world, of your genetic code that often uses fear as a motive to reproduce more fear. Deactivate the templates of society. Deactivate the templates of negative ego. Deactivate the templates of power or overpower, of subdue, the templates of fear, of unhappiness, sadness, loss, grief, misfortunes, your survival, to be wary, to be afraid of everything and anything. Deactivate the fear templates of the ghost of the past. Deactivate the templates of the limited desire. So be it. Deactivate the templates of fear, condition. So be it. If you want this shifted from the core, genetic, soul, and history level, just say yes. Yes.